Hello, soulful Scorpio. If you've been feeling like something invisible is pressing up against the edges of your life, some quiet tension building behind the scenes, you're not mistaken. This week marks a shift, not a gentle one, but a fated one, a turning point that has been slowly forming under the surface, waiting for the right alignment to set everything in motion. And now, the gates are opening. The energy of the sun, though it belongs to Leo, casts its power across the entire zodiac this week. But for you, Scorpio, it touches something deeper. It doesn't shine on the surface of your life. It goes underground, illuminating the hidden chambers of your soul, your secrets, your unspoken longings. And when it meets the force of the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician in the cards, something rare begins to unfold. This isn't just about external shifts or new beginnings you can measure on a calendar. It's a restructuring of your spiritual architecture. What's coming is not light and fluffy. It's potent. It's magnetic. It will strip away what you've outgrown, even the parts of you that once felt necessary for survival. And it will ask you to meet yourself honestly. No roles, no masks, no performances. Just you, standing at the doorway of something larger than your fear and more permanent than your pain. You don't need to chase it. You just need to stop hiding from it. And when the internal shift begins, the external follows. Scorpio, your relationship with money has always been laced with intensity. Either it flows to you like a tidal wave, or it disappears into shadows you can't control. But this time, something different is unfolding. The cards point to an opening, not from effort or overthinking, but from alignment. Unexpected income is headed your way, not through logic, but through timing. You may receive news of a financial gift, an old investment you'd long forgotten, or even an opportunity that seems to fall into your lap without explanation. It's not luck. It's karma collecting interest. 3 distinct streams of income begin to activate almost simultaneously. One may come through your current work, another may emerge from a creative side project you've been keeping quiet, and the third could arrive in the form of something you once started and abandoned, now finding its way back to you with new purpose. These aren't random doors opening. They are doors you once knocked on and walked away from, now opening on their own because the timing is right. In your career, you're not just being seen, you're being positioned. There's an elevation on the table, a promotion, a spotlight, a moment where your value is not just acknowledged, but sought after. A contract significant in weight and long-term in scope may be placed in front of you soon. It will carry responsibility, yes, but also recognition and a tangible reward for everything you've endured in silence. You've been preparing for this role without even knowing it. Now, the world starts catching up to what you've known all along, that your power doesn't come from being loud, but from being undeniable. And as your outer world begins to shift through recognition, resources, and rising influence, your heart, too, is being quietly called back to its own truth. For those of you walking this life alone, Scorpio, love isn't something you chase. It's something that must earn its way past your defenses, through the depth and fire of your intuition. And this week, something rare is approaching, not a casual flirtation, not a temporary warmth, but a connection that carries the weight of lifetimes, a meeting that feels more like remembering than discovery. You may cross paths with someone and feel instantly disarmed, like their presence speaks to a version of you long buried but never forgotten. This is not imagination, it is soul memory. And it brings with it either a blessing or a lesson disguised as one. Stay grounded. Stay open. Let your inner compass guide you. For those already in a relationship, this week holds a kind of alchemy. What once felt stagnant or predictable may stir again with surprising tenderness. You may find yourself seeing your partner with new eyes, remembering why you chose them in the first place, or realizing you're ready to choose them again, this time with more presence, more maturity, more honesty. A conversation may shift everything. A decision could root your bond more deeply into the soil of long-term commitment, whether it's moving in together, talking about marriage, or planning a future you had once felt too tired to hope for. There is also a thread of karmic love weaving through this period. Someone from your past, this life or another, may appear with unfinished business. They may not speak in the language of logic, but your body will recognize the frequency. Trust it. These moments don't happen often, and they are never random. Some are here to heal you, others to reflect you. All are here to teach you something sacred about what you're really looking for. And maybe, just maybe this time, love will feel like coming home, not like losing yourself. And when love moves through you, whether by meeting, remembering, or releasing, it doesn't just touch your heart, it touches your entire system. This is where the transformation becomes physical. Scorpio, your body has always been an instrument of intuition, often speaking what your mind hasn't yet caught up to. And this week, it will be louder than usual. You may feel sudden rushes of warmth in your chest or hands, subtle vibrations along your spine, or even waves of emotion that have no clear source. Pay attention. These are not symptoms to fear, but signs that your energetic field is being rewired. You're being attuned to a higher frequency, one that's more aligned with the future you're stepping into. You might begin to see repeating numbers 111, 777, 888 everywhere. On clocks, receipts, license plates. These aren't coincidences. They are confirmations, markers that you're not imagining the shift, that you're in sync with something far bigger than yourself. The veils are thinner now, and as they lift, your own spiritual gifts may begin to reawaken. Your dreams could become more vivid. Your intuition might speak faster, louder, more clearly. And your sensitivity to others, what they feel, what they hide, may sharpen to the point that silence feels louder than words. But even transformation, when it's sacred, must be integrated gently. Your body, too, needs time to adjust to this influx of light. Don't push. Don't overwork. Don't try to force clarity before it's ready. Support your vessel with grounding rituals. Walk barefoot on the earth. Drink clean water. Rest without guilt. And take moments to simply be still. Breathe. Touch your heart. Let it speak to you. This isn't just healing, it's a cellular renewal. Chronic fatigue, stress-based symptoms, or even emotional numbness may begin to dissolve, but only if you honor the process. Your system is clearing old pain so it can carry new light. Treat it like the sacred transition it is. And as the body softens, Scorpio, as the spirit recalibrates and the unseen begins to take form, you'll notice the transformation doesn't stop at your skin. It reaches into the places you've called home, into the spaces where your name has echoed in both love and silence. This week, old family dynamics may rise to the surface, not to cause more pain, but to release what's been buried. Conversations long avoided may finally unfold, not with conflict, but with surprising clarity. The walls that once divided you from a parent, a sibling, a relative, might begin to crumble, not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because something deeper than ego is taking the lead. Forgiveness, long held back like a final breath, may finally be exhaled, and with it, the heaviness you've carried for years may begin to lift. This is not just emotional healing, it's the soul realigning ancestral timelines. And for some of you, the shift is even more literal. You may be called suddenly or subtly to leave behind a space that once held you but now feels too small for who you're becoming. This might be a new home, a different city, or a complete relocation that surprises even you. But wherever it is, it will feel right. It will feel like space, like peace, like expansion. You're not just changing address. You're stepping into an environment that finally reflects the life you've been quietly building on the inside. Your surroundings are also shifting in less visible ways. People you once tolerated out of habit may begin to drift away. And not because of anger, but because your frequency no longer matches theirs. That's not rejection, it's resonance. You're attracting a different circle now. People who see your depth, who honor your stillness, who don't require you to shrink in order to be loved. Let them come. Let the rest fall away. This season is not about maintaining what was. It's about stepping into what's true, even if it looks completely unfamiliar, especially then. And once the external world begins to match the clarity rising within you, once your home, your family, and your environment begin to reflect the soul you fought so hard to reclaim, something even more personal starts to awaken your voice. Scorpio, this week is a powerful ignition point for your creativity, not in the superficial sense of being productive, but in the truest meaning of creation, the act of bringing something sacred from the unseen into form. Ideas may rush in suddenly, at inconvenient times during sleep, in the shower, mid-conversation, and they may not make immediate sense. Some will feel wild, others impractical, but none of them are random. They are whispers from your deeper self, or even echoes of a lineage that lives within your bones. Write them down. All of them, even the ones you're tempted to dismiss. One of them carries the blueprint of your next chapter. This is also the time when hidden talents, gifts you may have doubted, ignored, or inherited from ancestors long gone, begin to surface with undeniable clarity. You may suddenly feel drawn to painting, to music, to healing, to building something with your hands, or telling a story that's lived inside you for years. Trust these nudges. They are the real currency of your legacy. Not what you've been told you should do, but what your soul has always known it was here to express. There is no need to imitate anyone else. In fact, imitation will only dull your magic now. Your power is in your originality, your intensity, your quiet wisdom. You are not meant to be part of the crowd. You are meant to leave something behind that couldn't exist without you. And this week, the door to that destiny begins to open. Walk through it. Even if your hands shake, the future is not asking you to be fearless. It's only asking you to be real. But before you fully step into that next version of yourself, Scorpio, there are shadows to face, not from outside, but from within. The first challenge will not come in the form of obstacles. It will come as doubt, quiet, convincing, familiar. You may begin to feel the old fear rise again. That lingering discomfort when you start to shine a little too brightly. You've spent so long surviving in the dark that the light, even when you've asked for it, can feel too exposed. But understand this, your fear of being seen is really a fear of your own power. You were never afraid of failure. You were afraid of what might happen if you actually succeeded, if the world finally saw who you truly are and expected you to keep rising. Then comes the noise, the opinions of others, the subtle resistance from people who benefited from your silence, from your smaller self. The ones who feel uncomfortable when you set new boundaries or no longer seek their approval, these voices will question your timing, your worth, your decision. But remember, transformation threatens those who refuse to change. Do not internalize their hesitation. Do not let their comfort cost you your evolution. And most of all, you'll be asked to let go of what no longer serves you, not halfway, but completely. The death card does not ask for polite endings. It demands a closing ceremony. You cannot take your old identity into the life that's being offered to you now. You must shed it, mourn it, thank it, and leave it behind. That includes old stories about who you thought you had to be, old patterns of proving, performing, and protecting. You are not here to stay safe. You are here to rise. This week is not a random collection of days. It is a threshold, a cosmic gate, a moment in time where fate meets free will and asks you to choose not comfort, not familiarity, but truth. And if you're willing to stand up, to look yourself in the eye and say, I'm ready, then everything begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped resisting what's already yours. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are wiser, clearer, deeper, and now the universe reflects that back to you with opportunities, healing, love, and power that are finally aligned with your frequency. This is your rebirth. Scorpio, not a reset, but a resurrection, a return to your most magnetic, most grounded, most spiritually awakened self. So take your place, not with apology, not with hesitation, but with the quiet certainty of someone who has faced the fire and chosen to walk through it anyway. This is your week. This is your crown. And this time, you're not just wearing it, you're becoming it.